Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Bunch of Nuts podcast. This is Dan here, Big Cass, brother Cass. We're back. It's no longer a bye week. The Buckeyes, they have a wounded Nebraska team. I would define them as a good team, but they're wounded. They're coming off of
Hmm.
an absolutely shocking 56-7 loss to um, to Indiana, where they just got absolutely cooked alive. It was insane. I did not expect that coming at all. I don't think anyone expected that coming, to be honest. 56-7. That
No.
we might have a problem with Indiana, but we'll talk about that later down the road. But they come to the shoe. It's a noon game. You texted me earlier today. Major defensive overhaul, it looks like.
Just
Uh,
for this week, it sounds like.
just this week, yeah. But Um, I mean, I'm curious what they're gonna do with the defense. Ryan Day in his press conferences, he sounded very frustrated and angry about the defense. So I'm really gonna be curious to see how they come out and they set the tone against this Nebraska team. I mean, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think that um Ohio State's going to come out and try to make a statement on defense. I think there's a lot of bad blood. Um they played it close to the vest of not having Jack Sawyer come out and speak to the media, because if you listen to the players talking, they kept talking about the Oregon game, and these players are trying to put the Oregon game behind them. But this is the first time they came out and spoke since the Oregon game, so media is doing their job. I think there's going to be some switch up when it comes to the defensive line schemes. Will there be a CJ Hicks sighting on blitzing the off the edge, or Mitchell Melton? Who knows? Will there be some stunts blitzes with Jack Sawyer and Tyleek Williams, JTT, and Ty Hamilton? Who knows? But what we do know is it's like the worst best kept secret right now that it sounds like Lathan Ransom's going to miss this game. Re-aggravated his foot. Still a chance he could play, but they are preparing for Lorenzo Styles and Jermaine Matthews and Malik Hartford to fill in some of that DB role. Will that mean, if Jermaine Matthews and Lorenzo Styles play, mean that Jordan Hancock's going to slide over to that safety spot? Who knows?
I would love to see Hancock slide over there. I also would like to see Hartford get some reps. Is there a chance maybe like a Jaden McLean
Yeah,
maybe make
Bonsu,
Bonsu.
McLean, yeah.
Bonsu even on the team still? I don't even remember.
Yeah, he's still on the team.
He's still, yeah. I mean, I think maybe McLean will get some reps because he flashed in the spring. But Nebraska, they I feel like they've definitely overachieved this year. 5-2. I think any Nebraska fan at this point would be ecstatic with that, given kind of where the program's been. And they're definitely much improved, but they can be exposed.
Yeah,
And
but
it
yeah, and here's the thing too. If you look at Nebraska, you look at Penn State, you look at Northwestern, you look at Michigan, there's only two teams left on our schedule, and then maybe Oregon again on our schedule that aren't that's not going to play 12 personnel, a lot against the Buckeyes. So we're going to see Arvell Reese too. Um, definitely going to be interesting to see how they run this defense this week.
yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, the offense of Nebraska, it really does not scare me. They run a spread option offense. It's probably like the least explosive spread.
I will say it's a 12 personnel. They'll run tight ends because their two tight ends are pretty decent. Dylan Raiola, though, this is an interesting stat I heard on a podcast the other day. I forget which one. It was either Bucknuts Morning Five or it was the podcast. But more quarterbacks you would think would be polar opposite, right? So Dylan Raiola's 74% completion percentage when he's facing man-to-man defense. However, he is 34% when he's facing zone defense. which is such a wild stat to hear. And
That's
that
interesting. And
so
this might be a good game because I mean Ohio State when they've gone man the past couple times, it feels like they've gotten cooked. And we've been I mean I know in our chats we've been begging for the zone, some
yeah.
type of zone, maybe a safety deep, and then you can
And
mix
this is where you maybe why he's talked about Lorenzo and Jermaine Matthews playing a little bit more.
maybe too. I mean maybe Sonny might slide over to the other safety potential. I mean Sonny, I don't know if he is built for it right now just because of the off seasons he's had and how he's put on muscle and stuff like that.
Well, you could stay in the flats, like you could run
Yeah, but maybe more of a traditional, like a Cam Chancellor, strong safety type of role.
or
I
who's the dude that played for Clemson that was so good? Really?
Simmons, Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons. Yeah,
Yeah, I could see him doing something like that. Maybe. Um, it does feel like Raiola for Nebraska. He's kind of hitting that freshman wall. Nine
yeah.
touchdowns on the year, six interceptions. He started out very good.
Those are the same exact stats as Patrick Mahomes. Holy crap!
Is it really?
Yeah, Patrick
Oh
Mahomes has
no.
like, oh,
Pat Mahomes. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Pat Mahomes stats. Uh,
six
yeah.
six touchdowns, eight interceptions.
So okay, so that means if Raiola is gonna have to throw two picks this game. You gotta keep pace with his boy. I think we figured it out. That's so funny. No, I mean it is weird the Pat Mahomes cosplay. But it is kind of funny because his brother kind of looks like Jackson Mahomes. So I kind of respect what they're doing here. Uh,
Somebody said that Dylan Raiola uh looks like Patrick Mahomes. He looks like he's playing Patrick Mahomes on a Lifetime movie network about Travis and Taylor Swift.
He's basically the guy who plays Bill Belichick in the Aaron Hernandez documentary, the new one on Hulu.
Oh yeah, who listens to Bon Jovi?
Yeah, 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 exactly. No, it's so back to football. Well, back to Nebraska. I just I've said this so many times, but Nebraska they just lack the horses on the perimeter.
Oh
It,
yeah, they have nobody, and they're going to be down a running back this week too.
it's been evident. I mean, it's been evident since the college football games come out when I've been playing with them. They do a lot of good things well, and they also just don't have the horses. And when it comes to a guy like Jeremiah Smith and Emeka and all these guys, they don't have the athletes to match up with that at all. If Nebraska is gonna, you know, keep this game interesting, they're probably gonna have to kind of play like Iowa a little bit, take an approach like that, and obviously be competent on offense. I just don't see it though.
I I
I,
don't either.
I don't either, and and I say that with all respect to the Nebraska fans. They're great people. And they should be very proud of what the team has, Matt Rule's done this year. But unfortunately, come noon on Saturday, it's gonna be the same old story when they come play Ohio State. It's gonna be probably a massacre. I want to be nice though. I think we don't cover, just because we're gonna be coming out of a bye. We're gonna be probably trying some new things. This is kind of like a get
Oh,
right.
I'm going to tell you right now, if Ohio State doesn't cover, stay off Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pressure to cover would be on because of what Indiana did, but I'm not looking at what Indiana did. Like what Indiana did in the context of this, like this is great, but you also have to factor in like Ohio State's coming off of a bye. They just lost to Oregon. They're gonna win this game. They're not they don't have the urgency that I think Indiana had to make a statement because they want to try to potentially get into the playoffs. So like, winning 56-7 is a very impressive game for them. Ohio State they'll be happy with just a 3-4 touchdown win easily and keep
If it's
everyone
three,
out.
four touchdowns, they cover the spread.
What's this? I thought it was
Last time I checked, it was 25.
25
It might have went up though. I haven't checked it in a while.
because I have us just barely not covering. So um we'll get into that. But uh, and obviously their running back Johnson, he's out. But I do think Dowdle, he's been their I mean he's been their best back statistically. Um, 350 yards, 5 touchdowns on the year. Their tight end Thomas Fadone the second, 20 catches, 218 yards. He's their receiving threat. It is funny because you did mention like they love to run the 12 personnel and all that stuff. Um, but they're more blocking tight ends, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, I'm sure one of them is going to score a touchdown now. Inevitably, when it comes to receivers, it's Jamal Banks, um, Isaiah Nayer. These guys are kind of just they're big. They're 6'4" receivers, but they're kind of just jags. I hate to say it. That they're they're jags because they're seniors and they've had decent careers, but they haven't put up like crazy numbers wherever. And these are transfer portal guys. One's from Wake Forest, one's from Texas. They haven't put up crazy numbers in their career. So I'm not really that concerned about them. I'm just
Yeah, I'm not concerned about them moving the ball. I think our defense is going to hold them to a couple field goals. I don't think they're going to score a touchdown. Offensively for the Buckeyes, I think this is a Will Howard is going to put the country on notice. You know, Will Howard is one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country. Uh, they've been working on the deep ball. I just don't think Nebraska has anybody to cover the our receivers, and I think we finally strike gold on a deep ball on an explosive play this week. I also think, yeah, Zen Michalski is going to start, but I also think that Trey and Quinshawn are eager and hungry to get going because people are talking about how bad the running game was in the second half against Oregon, and I think they're eager to get back on the field. And I think, you know, yeah, Nebraska's got a pretty solid defensive line, but I think the offensive line is hungry to get back out there, and I think in general the offense is going to be hungry to ready, and I think they're hungry for some explosive plays. Um, However, that also eliminates some of the possessions because however, I still think the defense is going to give up some yardage, and I think they're going to give up a lot of time of possession. So we're not going to see a 50 burger by Ohio State, but I do think we score in the 40s.
I have us just right below in the 40s. I think, and this will be in the preview Blake does. I do feel like coming out of buys, we do start a little slower. This this is a late October game. It's at noon. I think we'll be a little sluggish, but I think we also have to evaluate that in the context of what this game is. This is not Ohio. As much as I want us to go out and make a statement, that's for next week. That's for Penn State. This week, I just need us to kind of get our confidence back. I would like to see us get some confidence back, get the rhythm going on offense. I want Will obviously to pop off, do his thing. Defense, I need us. I want them to find it on defense. Just force a couple turnovers early. Um, get their swagger back. Maybe get Burke a pick. I think I don't know if we're gonna get Judkins involved. That he had the hand procedure. He had the hand procedure. He's not supposed to miss any time. They're saying.
I
I
think
don't
this is
know.
more of a Trey game.
I think it's Trey and Peoples. I could see Peoples getting involved heavily too. I don't think there's really look. Even if he look, I don't. I'm not saying Judkins isn't gonna play. I just Ryan Day when it comes to injuries, you have a better chance of getting information about Vladimir Putin from the Kremlin than you do about an injury from Ryan Day. It's for all I know, Judkins might not even have a hand. He might have had his hand amputated and be saying he's good. Like I don't I don't know. The only truthful injury update we've ever gotten from Ryan Day is just that Josh Simmons is out for the year. That's
And Will Kazmarik's going to miss a few weeks because of his
yeah.
shoulder.
like Mayan Williams tore his ACL last year, and or I think it was
Yeah.
some bad knee injury, and we didn't find out till like weeks later. It's like when Ryan Day says like someone is probable or questionable, they might be dead. So I don't know if Junkins is all right or not. I think he is. I hope it
I
doesn't
think
sound
he is.
bad because other people have been telling me he's all right, but I that is a little concerning. I don't even need him to play this week though. Just get healthy for Penn State. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Yeah. Penn State's got a tough one this week against Wisconsin.
They do.
Um,
They do.
yeah,
And
I
they will lose because history shows us every time you're about to play Penn State and they're ranked really high, they lose the week before for some reason. It's
or 2 weeks before.
yeah.
I I can't wait to see Bennett Christian, see what he can do. Like,
Yes.
there's been a lot of talk about what he can do on offense, and I am excited for Zen Mihalski. Hopefully, he's been being raved about by Travion Henderson. Um,
He's a good player.
so
I don't think the fall off's going to be that bad. I really don't.
so they are honoring the 2014 national championship team this week. The 10-year anniversary. Obviously, some of the players aren't going to be there because they play in the NFL. Could we see a punt return for a touchdown, knowing that Jalen Marshall is going to be in the building and he's the last one to do it? I'm going to say no, but I feel like something big is going to happen for special teams this week.
I can see a blocked kick. I can see like a blocked field goal for some.
Blocked field goal, blocked punt. Um, uh,
They're
maybe a
not good at kicking. I want to tell you this right now. Nebraska on the year, when it comes to field goals, they're 4 for 9. They're literally making 44% of their field goals. Their longest field goal they have made is
so
31, 31 yards. That
so
is
that,
atrocious.
and I have Nebraska with 6 points.
They might score the touchdown and just miss the extra point, dude.
Yeah, hey, Oregon did so.
Seriously, though. I think a block kick. I could see Denzel Burke getting a blocked like field goal or something like off the edge. And does he even play on the field? No, who's the guy? Who are our edge guys on that? Like our
I would say Jermaine Matthews might be on there. McLean, some of
whoever the
those.
DBs are that like rush off the edge. One of them is getting a block. I think that's
Lorenzo Styles.
yeah,
He's been really good on special teams this year.
yeah. I could see it.
Well, I have 41-6, Ohio State.
I
Uh,
okay. Well, what's the logic behind this? Let me.
like I said, I think we're going to get some explosive touchdowns, but I also think we're going to get a defensive touchdown. I really do. Um, so I think the offense initially scores 4 touchdowns, and the defense scores one, and then I think we kick a couple field goals and maybe a safety in there, or a couple field goals. That would be 41. So yeah,
I like it. I got 38. Buckeyes getting 38, and then I got Nebraska getting 14. I think just that their offense will bounce back a little bit after last week's performance. I think Raiola he will lead them to 2 touchdowns. I think he is due for a decent game. I wouldn't be shocked if he threw 2. I think he could definitely, his receivers are not great, but I think he's such a good quarterback, and I could totally see him just putting on a show. He's gonna have some turnovers though. I think offensively, we really don't have any trouble. I just foresee though, like a holding penalty or a false start or something weird like that being a drive killer while we're driving, and then we're gonna end up kicking a field goal, and then it's gonna be a typical mid-October lackluster game, where we win, but we don't really impress everyone. Uh, but like I'm gonna be happy. I'm not gonna be upset. I just don't see this being an exciting game, I guess. It's just gonna be your most average. It's gonna be like the Rutgers game
it's
last year.
gonna be like Ohio State versus Iowa in 2022,
Yeah, yeah. That's honestly that's the perfect example.
where CJ Stroud struggled a little bit because they were trying to force the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba when he was trying to make a comeback. And then the defense had to score a touchdown at the end of the second half, I mean, end of the second quarter, because and then finally CJ Stroud exploded in the second half. I can see that.
Yeah, I just think that's gonna happen.
Even though we put up 50 points in that game. But that's what it kind of reminds me of. Like that offense with CJ Stroud was more explosive than I mean this one but I we both got about around the same points offensively, but I think our defense wants to prove something, and you know
It's gonna
it,
be interesting to see what the defense does this week. Like,
yeah,
I'm not concerned about the offense. The offense to me, they answered a lot of questions against Oregon
it's going to be the
outside of
limit.
just
Like
getting down with a second left. Um,
it's going to be the limit possessions. I think Nebraska is going to try to keep the ball. I think Raiola is not going to snap it until like 8 seconds left on the play clock every
yeah,
time.
I agree. And I just think like Ohio State's offense, they like back to my point, they against Oregon, they proved, I think to me that they're a very competent offense. Yes, they could have executed better by getting down with a second left. The one turnover though was just Judkins, the fumble. And I
Hmm.
think honestly, if his hand is healthy, he doesn't that doesn't happen. I think he has a better grip on the ball, to be honest.
Do
Um,
we even know what hand it is?
I think it's his right.
Yeah.
I want to say it's his right. After you want to hold on, I'm looking it up.
I
Uh,
feel like too like outside of outside of Lathan Ransom and Will Kazmarek and Josh Simmons, I feel like someone else randomly is going to be out for this game.
mm,
Like
I
you know how like there's always somebody sneaky on that depth on the inactive report. You're
how did that happen?
how did that guy like
Yeah, I'm trying to think who it would be. Hold on. I could see it being let's play a fun game. Who's a random inactive dude this week? I could see it being
G Scott,
no,
Quinshon Judkins, maybe.
no, because
Like we had the one we already had Carnell Tate. He was already that one.
I know I want to say like Carnell Tate just because like he's I could see Ennis being out for some reason.
Yeah. Or Ty Helmetson's a brawler. What about Jordan Hancock? Because they keep talking about Matthews and
Yeah, or Igbinosin perhaps.
yeah, maybe
He caught a disease from the spit.
or Jaden Fielding,
No, I don't think so. Or Joe McGuire, and they play
Joe
the.
McGuire. Yeah,
It's I don't know. I like this. Who's gonna be the random inactive? And
the
I love
random. That's not Will Kazmarek, Josh Simmons, or Lathan Ransom.
Carson Hinsman, just
Some backup offensive linemen.
Austin Cyberfell. I don't know.
I don't know.
This is a
So
great game. I'll point it out on Twitter when it happens though.
G
Um,
Scott Jr.
he's
I mean Jelani Thurman.
I, honestly, that Jelani was a name that popped to my mind when you first posed this
I
question.
want to see him play. I need to see him play and do something. I really do. But what an interesting week in college football it is going to be, though. Now, tomorrow night's game is supposed to be really good. Uh,
Boise State, UNLV.
Pitt is taking it to Kyle McCord. Kyle McCord has 4 picks tonight.
I'm getting absolutely roasted in the group chat I'm in because they're like, Dan, I can't believe you own a Kyle McCord like Syracuse jersey after tonight. No, there's no comment for the McCord horde. I'm just it is
Oh,
we're burning the tape on this one, boys. He had a couple good throws. Hey,
yeah.
he had a really good sidearm throw on fourth down. If Pat Mahomes did it, it would be number one on every ESPN clip. He also threw a dot on fourth down to Gadsden. That would have been a touchdown that he dropped, hit him in his hands. So it's not all McCord. Syracuse is playing very lazy tonight.
All right, let's start our picks.
Let's do it. We have a lot of games. We're not the. Know what's crazy about this week? Before we get the picks in, Miami is playing Florida State this week, and this was like supposed to be one of the games of the year. I think we both had it in our top 10 preseason. This isn't even a top 10 game this week. This is just why is this on the schedule? I'm like, why are they even playing this game?
I'm actually going back to notes.
I I think we both had this somewhere in our games.
I no, I didn't.
You did. I definitely did.
No, I had number 7 at my number 7 game was Florida State versus Notre Dame. Honorable mention Florida State versus Miami.
Did I pick it? I believe I did.
I don't know. I just have mine.
I'm pretty sure I had it as like
And my number 1 was Ohio State and Michigan, and I don't even know if that's going to be. I mean, it's important, but
well, at least you didn't pick Kansas for your playoff spot. But I did pick Miami, and Blake did have. I'm sorry, anyone who had Florida State winning the ACC is way worse than me picking Kansas. I just tried to be. I just thought there was going to be someone random from the Big 12, and it just turns out to be BYU this year. But no one's getting the Big 12 right. I don't care.
I had you had Kansas, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State, and UTSA as your best of group of 5. I had
Well, Kansas,
you
UTSA, not
I
hit.
had Utah, Boise State, Texas, Miami, and Ohio State.
We can't be perfect.
I did have Florida State in the playoffs though.
Exactly. See, so you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
All right, picks, brother. So we got the first one. It's UNLV, Boise State, Ashton Genie. Um, how many yards does Ashton Genie run for? I don't know. Um, the line on this is -3.5.
Boise State favor.
They are.
I have -3.5 for Boise.
I will say this: UNLV, they're 30th in rush defense. They're not terrible. I'm taking Boise State though, minus
Yeah.
3.5. Because the logic here is, we saw Boise State. Boise State's actually pretty good because Ohio State lost to Oregon. As we know, Boise State also kind of went toe to toe with Oregon. I gotta respect that. They look like they're going to be the group of 5 team to make the playoff as long as they keep winning. Genie is on pace to win the Heisman, and I think that's all I really had.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Uh
UNC got lost to Syracuse, and
yeah.
Syracuse losing that. So,
All right, high noon. There's a lot of good noon games. Decent ones. Notre Dame at Navy on noon, ABC. Notre Dame's a 14-point favorite. This was tricky. I'm going to take the Irish.
I'm gonna take Navy. Um, 'Cause it's away. Notre Dame has had some stinkers on all. If Riley Leonard doesn't come to play, and they have like a stinker offensive game, Navy's gonna win. Navy's easily gonna cover. They might win. They should win this game. Um, Horvath on Navy is a monster. I think he's the only quarterback in the FBS with 10 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns this year. Navy has the better offense, I think. I mean, am I wrong? I think they have the better offense, bro. So I know it's Notre Dame, and on paper, Notre Dame should smack them, but we saw them literally lose to a MAC team this year. So I'm supporting the troops on this one.
All right, what's the next game?
Mm,
Keep an eye on Washington, Indiana. I don't know if we want to pick that one,
I
but
don't
keep
want
an
to
eye
pick
on.
that one, but
Rorick's out. the quarterback for Indiana, but keep an eye on it. And I don't want to pick Illinois, Oregon because I think Illinois is going to go over there and get slaughtered.
I agree. Um, I
How's
want.
Alabama 17-point favorite against Missouri?
I don't know about that, but I'm gonna take Missouri there.
I am too.
Let's pick that one because obviously we have to because that's a pretty pivotal SEC game.
Do I think they're going to win? No, but that's a lot of points.
I agree. I think Missouri is competent enough where they keep that close. They only have one loss, Missouri,
Yeah,
and
but is their quarterback going to play?
oh, Cook
That's
is
still a lot of points.
no Cook is doubtful. Cook is doubtful. I'm going with Bama.
Yeah, I forgot Cook was out. Yeah.
Cook is that team.
Bama wants to make a statement, and my cousin wants to get a new TV. So,
I agree. um, this is my personal pick. We got number 5, Texas. They go to the hardest place playing the SEC,
did
man. Vanderbilt. Texas is minus 18 and a half. I'm taking Vanderbilt, bro. Texas is they're I think they might be a little banged up after playing Georgia. I feel like that's a game where they're sore the next week. Vanderbilt, when you come to our place, we're gonna show you how to play Vanderbilt football.
Alabama, you're next.
You're that Texas, you're that. I'm going with Vanderbilt because I want to see the goalposts go down the river again.
I'm taking Vandy to cover, but Texas wins.
Fair enough. Um, and then the big one,
Florida State, Miami.
uh, yeah, the biggest one, the
Yeah,
game that our podcast this whole off season, I feel like has been kind of alluding to this, getting ready for this one. It's kind of a two-parter. It feels like our brothers up north, the Michigan State Spartans, they need this. They need this. These great people. Um, I love the Spartans and I hate the Wolverines. And I just know Spartans +5 all day, man. All day.
I I'm with you.
This is the eight,
The only one we got different is Notre Dame Navy,
this is the
and
Aiden
that's okay.
this is the Aiden Childs 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks game.
I
But
am predicting if Michigan State beats Michigan this week, I am taking predicting that Will Johnson will pack it in and get ready for the NFL draft.
they will be the Don, Will Johnson, Graham, Grant, Loveland.
Donovan Edwards needs to play. He's been trash all
The
year.
player on Michigan who's actually good on offense is Mullings.
But
He like this year, he's been a beast this year. I'll give him his flowers. He deserves his flowers.
hey, the Madden curse to the cover curse. It's the EA Sport. It's no longer the Madden curse. It's the EA Sports curse.
The Don. The
Yeah.
Don.
Even though Quinn Ewers is on there, but Quinn Ewers is not even in the Heisman race. So
Judkins hurt hand.
Travis Hunter's there, but Travis Hunter's all right. But Judkins ain't really on the cover. Like he's on the
No,
cover, but yeah.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. Um, one more keep your eye on it game.
Wisconsin, Penn
Wisconsin,
State.
Penn State. Yeah, absolutely. Uh,
Wisconsin looks like they finally got a quarterback. And then think about all this. I know the players don't play for Penn State anymore, but there's a distraction. James Franklin walked off the set, stopped the press conference over some sexual allegations with former players that were going on.
to be fair
Uh,
though, that ESPN, we got a minute here. It was a reckless headline just
yeah,
because he just didn't want to comment on it. AP and the boys of the Nittany Pod, I got to defend them on
yeah,
this because
I'm with them. I'm with them though.
it's obviously a touchy subject with Penn State. I don't think he was prepared for that question, so I wouldn't answer it either.
Yeah,
Uh,
and Brenda Tracy's mouthing off.
ridiculous. No, we gotta stop with this nonsense.
Yeah,
Penn
stop
State
with it.
paid their crime. They paid their time. Stop. We got about 20 seconds here, but that's all I got, brother. Thank
So I
you.
got
Thank you everyone for listening to another episode of the Bunch of Nuts podcast. Have a great, weekend. Go Bucks and let's beat Nebraska, baby.